can't hear anything. Here we go. Okay, let me get back to it. Now you can hear me, I'm sure. I got the audio going. Okay, cool. This is your boy Bob Rock, and this is the B Rock RC Show, a live podcast for the drifters by a drifter. Welcome back, everybody. We're back in it, and we're gonna give you guys a much better show now. As you can see, I have the lovely layout. Oh, sorry. There we go. Got a lovely layout going. Managed to sort out my settings, so hopefully, it's gonna look a lot better. Everything's gonna get a much better from now, and I hope you will be joining me on this journey again to find out more about the world of RC drifting and what's going on in your country and from around the globe. So we actually have quite a nice and a very critical episode going on today. We've got some very, very important topics that we'd like to talk about as well. But before we get full into those topics, I just want to say I'm so happy to be back and doing this, and I'm even more excited because I've got uh, my whole system running again. You can see with the nice overlays. Jeez, I'm so bad at this. But anyway, with the nice overlay going on, it's looking a whole lot better than just doing the show from my phone. So managed to get everything going. I had a little bit of help along the way. Big shout out to Marcio. Also, please forgive me for that background noise. I'm sure you guys can hear that fan going on. It's my PC. I don't know what the hell it is, and why is it making so much of noise. It's probably because it's a bit of an old PC, but look, for the moment it's doing its job. I'm here with you guys, and we're just gonna keep that going. So what's been happening around your part of the world? Maybe I know, maybe I don't know. I hope that you guys are keeping the drifting going, visiting the tracks, which is part of what I am going to speak about very soon. So let's get to some of the comments here. Okay, hey Wolf. Yes, man, it's been a long time since you've been on the podcast, in the comments there as well. So I'm so happy to see you. Wolf, guys, is a very good friend of mine from Austria, and he's a big source of knowledge and information for me. So I do refer back to him quite a few times to get a little inside tips here and there. But yeah, he's definitely one of the guys to follow. So he says, I'm in Austria since today, and here we have lockdown again for unvaccinated people. Oh my god. Yeah, that's going to be an endless struggle, I think, between vaccinated and unvaccinated, and is it your choice, and should it be your right? Not that it shouldn't. I think it should be your choice whether you want to be vaccinated or not. And I don't think anybody should be prejudiced or discriminated against if they are vaccinated or unvaccinated. However, if you do choose not to vaccinate, of course that's your choice. But if you do choose to vaccinate yourself, then please give respect and consideration to those people who are vaccinated, and all of us, let's all be mindful and respectful of each other. Let's everybody make sure that we are safe. If you make sure we have a mask, sanitize, whatever your method of keeping safe is, please do it rigorously so that we keep ourselves and those around us, especially our loved ones, all safe and healthy, because we all want to see tomorrow, and we don't want anybody going through anything like being infected with the virus, whether you believe it's a COVID virus or not. Either way, we just don't want to get ill by whatever this infliction virus is, and we just want to see the next day and be together and move forward. We don't want to move backwards. So, hey Matt, how you doing, man? Sorry, when I'm looking down, I'm actually reading your comments here. Right, let's see. Stream is looking tops, everything looking awesome. Thank you so much, Marcio. Marcio has been a big source of strength and guidance for me in this last for a little while now. So I really appreciate all the help, man. And I think you are instrumental into why the stream is looking good as well. So huge shout out to you, Marcio. And I hope what I'm building for you is everything that you wanted and more. So you are definitely gonna like it though. Okay, so guys, back in it. What's the latest going on in the world of RC drifting? So, and quickly, just a side note, the reason why you're not going to see any pictures or any videos just yet is because I didn't anticipate getting my setup all looking a whole lot better now. So I didn't really prepare that portion of how I would normally do my podcast. But nevertheless, from next week, we're gonna be bringing back our very much loved and liked track talk feature. I know quite a few people have messaged me and asking me when am I bringing it back, and we miss it. So don't worry, guys. From next week, track talk will be back, and yes, you will definitely be hearing me speaking in different languages, which I particularly really enjoyed learning all the languages so far. So I've done like Portuguese, I've done French, I've done Polish, I've done Japanese, I've done German, Swiss German. Let's see what else. Yeah, I think that's well, English, Afrikaans, a little bit of Zulu, um, and the next one I was trying to get right was Chinese. Jeez, guys, Chinese is difficult. So I am trying to get somebody from one of the Korean tracks. I'm trying to do a track feature there, so hopefully I can get that to work. So I think it's going to be really awesome. Hey Stefan, hey Ryan, thank you guys so much for joining in. Really appreciate it. I hope you are enjoying the look of the show now. I think it does look a whole lot better if I move my head, if I do a little funny thing here. Okay, everything is looking good. If I'm looking up, I'm actually looking at the screen. It's slightly up and the camera is slightly down. So please excuse me for that. I will get it all right. Okay, so back to the world of RC drifting. Over the weekend, I'm sure you guys, whoever follows me and whoever doesn't follow me, you follow RC drifting, you would have come across the very much watched and liked RCDC All Japan E-Drift Championship series, which usually runs throughout the year. But of course, with COVID, things cut back, or etc. But this weekend they had the next round of the All Japan E-Drift, and boy was it a doozy. Absolutely amazing. And guys, somebody just remind me to bring you some of the action from RCDC in next week's show. I'll do a little follow-up on that, so you guys have an idea what I'm talking about. The track was beautiful, but it looked very technical. The judging was extremely strict in my opinion, and there were some calls which we really didn't understand. I think from outside looking in, we couldn't understand some of the calls where you had some guys making similar mistakes, but the one driver getting penalized and the one driver not getting penalized. So I'm trying to reach out to some of the RCDC judges and trying to find out how they are how do they judge, what are they basing, what is the criteria for judging, and perhaps just give some insight into how the scoring worked and why some people were scored and others were given a DNF for a very similar sort of mistake. So I'd love to get to know that, and it's not to be judgmental or anything. It's simply to understand how they work. Um, so, and if you followed also, you would have seen that actually RevD, Team RevD did extremely well. They took all four spots, one, two, three, four, Team RevD. So that tells me two things. One is that the drivers are really skilled, and two is that the equipment they're using clearly indicate that they add to the performance, that they are really good products. And if you are a good driver, it's going to help you become a great driver a little bit quicker and perhaps easier. If you're a great driver, you're going to become an excellent driver. If you're an excellent driver, you're going to absolutely slay everybody on the track. So if you haven't thought about using RevD products previously, I think this is a good indication that some RevD products, if not all of them, will definitely add the kind of value that you're looking for into your chassis, especially if you want to, and you may not necessarily want to compete, but you want to drive really well, and you want your chassis to perform exactly how you want it to, so in a specific way, and then this will definitely take you to that level. I'm considering adding some of the RevD products to my chassis. However, I'm really enjoying my chassis as is. So for now, I want to spend just a little bit more time tweaking my chassis till it's 100%, 110% how I want it. And at the moment, it's almost there. So I'm quite happy for the moment. But I'm looking forward to trying some of the RevD products out. So let me go back to some of the comments here. Let's see, we got Marcio, we got Baxi. Oh, Baxi, how you doing, my man? Baxi is actually a good friend of mine who's not in the RC family, but very much a supporter of what I do, which is what you need with whatever hobby or whatever you're doing. You always need a really good backer in your corner, and for me, he's just one of the many supporters and backers that I have. So appreciate it. We play a lot of PUBG together, and he's my clanmate as well. So that's where he comes from. Hey, what's up, Rich? How you doing, teammate? So, if you guys have seen some of my posts, you will see that I have been blessed, and I'm so grateful to One Up Racing, to Joe Pillars, and the rest of the One Up Racing team for giving me this opportunity again to be part of the One Up Racing family. And you will see more and more posts from me specifically about the One Up Racing products. I have been using the bearing oil for a little while now, and I can tell you for sure that they work really well. So if you're looking for an alternative product other than the mainstream products that you normally see, One Up Racing is definitely the brand to look at. The products are really well tested, they work really well, and they look good as well. So I'll be bringing you a little bit more about that in future episodes. So the main thing that I wanted to talk about. Hey, what's up, Viv? Oh man, how nice to see Viv in the comments there, bro. I hope you had a super enjoyable and relaxing holiday. It's so good to see you in such a good mood over there as well. I've been following your trip, and so nice to. I think you are back. So nice to have you back, man. So yeah, on to one of a very very important topic which I did wanna talk about, and I hope you guys will stay on for just a little bit, even if at least 10 minutes. If you please can stay on for 10 minutes, this is really gonna help all of us, everybody within the RC drifting family, including manufacturers, dealers, and track owners, and everybody. It's something that we all need to be aware of, take cognizance of, and it's something that we need to start implementing from now. Um, so a little while back, my good friend Llewellyn sent me a link to a YouTube video, and he said, "You know what, Bob, check this out. You're gonna enjoy it." I was like, at first, I was like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." And then eventually, I was like, "Okay, you know what? Let me just see what this guy is talking about." So I clicked on the link, and it took me to a YouTube channel called JQ Racing TV. Now, I don't know who JQ is. I don't follow on-road, off-road racing. I'm not part of that fraternity, although I do know of that part of RC. So in his channel, he spoke about the a way to save RC. And just hear me out for the next 5 or 10 minutes. Just please just hang on and just listen. So he spoke a lot about saving RC and all the things related to how we can save RC. He commented on, and more specifically, he commented on what's going on in the racing scene and who's the big guys there, the big organizations, and what they are doing, what they're not doing, and what they should do, and stuff like that. However, the points that he made in that video are very, very relevant to what we are doing at the moment, and I think in some part what we are experiencing with RC drifting. So one of the biggest things that he did mention, and I think a lot of you would know this, and some of you have experienced this already. It's that if you have no track, that is the death of RC. No track, no RC. Unless you have an extremely dedicated number of committed RC drifters where you go find a car park that's there every weekend. You guys go there, you set up a little, you mock up a little track, and you're drifting there every single day. That's the only other way that you're going to save RC. Otherwise, if you don't have a track, RC is going to be dead. And look what happened, or what almost happened in the UK, where things got so bad that unfortunately tracks had to close down. We had Seoul RC closing down, and for whatever reason they closed. But look at the effect that happened. For a long while, people had to travel far out to get to another track, and then some people fell off simply because Seoul RC was the track to be at, and they couldn't get to any other tracks. So our first duty is to support the local track, or be part of the local track, or make an effort to build a track if there isn't one in your area. So I hope you get what I'm trying to say. We got to support the local track in order to keep it running, in order to extend the longevity of the hobby. Otherwise, it's just gonna absolutely die. Now, I know it's a difficult thing to do. It's extremely difficult. Believe me, I know, because I experienced the same thing with my own track. At times, I just wanted to throw in the towel and like I give up, because a lot of drivers just drifted away. They stopped drifting. They were always around, but never around to drift, and it frustrated the absolute daylights out of me. I got extremely frustrated, but I had one or two dedicated guys that like, don't worry, we will keep it going. And that's what got me motivated to keep at it. 7 years later, I'm still in the RC game. um, 4 years later, our track is still there, it's still being used because we are going there and doing our best to keep it alive. And this is my point that I'm trying to drive home. It's that keep your local track alive, and attached to that, your local hobby shop going to be very, if they play a very key role in helping to keep the RC drifting family, and RC drifting as a hobby and a sport, keeping it going in that area. At the same time, hobby shops need to come to the party. We understand that it's a business. We understand that there needs to be the profit needs to be made. We completely understand that, and we are not against that at all. All we're saying is that give the RC drifting guys a chance. So stock some of the products that we're looking for. So instead of us coming to you, to your local hobby shop, and maybe paying a few bucks extra, but we're getting it from you, instead of going and buying it online, you know. So our hobby shop owners, that's not or that doesn't really carry RC drifting stuff, guys, you need to come to the party, because the drifting guys are just as dedicated as your on-road, your off-road, your guys that fly planes, guys that fly drones. We are just as much dedicated, if not more, to perfecting our craft, and we know the value of getting the right tools for the right job. So I hope you guys will take that under advisement and put it into use. So let's see. We want to go back to a couple of comments here. Hey, what's up, guys? What's up, Joash? Okay, well, there's a whole lot of comments here. A lot of people talking with each other, which is awesome. I really enjoy seeing that. What's up, David? Okay, so Ryan says, Uncle Bob, what happened to the RC track at Southway Mall? Okay, so just to give the viewers out there a little bit of history into the Southway Mall RC track. Here in my town, we had the RC track called the Southway Mall RC track. It was run by a club called the Durban DMCC, Durban Motor Car Model Car Club, something like that. And for many years, if not decades, they ran on-road racing at the track. So there was provincials, there was national championships, and that track was being used all the time for a long time. Slowly, however, it started dying off, and unfortunately, they had a few bad incidents there where it's actually located under or partially close by an overhead bridge. So what happened one day was that a truck broke through the barrier and ended up inside the track, and they had to obviously repair the track and repair the fencing and everything, and it got away from them. And also the number of participants and club members they had, it shrank, and eventually the track closed down, which is an absolute shame, because they ran for so long that they actually became a household name within the city. And everybody used to ask, like, oh, what happened with that track? And we there was nothing we could do about it. My club, we were never in the position to take over and turn it into a drift track, because what happened was other criminal elements started infiltrating there. It wasn't the right area. So that's pretty much what happened to Southway Mall, bro. Let's see. Okay, wait. So Baxi has a comment here. RC events need to be promoted more. It's super fun to watch. If I didn't meet you, I wouldn't have known about it. That's an excellent point, and one that I will be talking about just now, Baxi. Marcia says, what are the fees to be members at Tracks, Bob? Is it monthly or annually? That would depend on the club you are joining. Some of them will have an annual fee split into monthly payments, or some will just say that it's a monthly payment, and if you want to pay for the whole year, you can pay upfront. Generally, the clubs will set up different amounts for their club fees, and it's really up to you. Our club fee, usually it's determined by our hosting club, so it's anything from like 180 to about 250 bucks for the entire year to be part of the club, which I think is nothing. Which I think is absolutely nothing. So that's 250 South African rands if you guys wanna check out, do the little exchange rate thingy. What do I mean? Okay, Wolf says one of the main problems is as well that the mainstream still think it's toys. Oh, dude, you know when I was blogging on the Speed and Sound website for Speed and Sound magazine, I blogged for them for about 2 years. I wrote a whole article, a whole blog specifically about that. RC cars are not toys. They are not toys. I'm sorry. I don't care what the hell you think. I don't care whether you call it a toy, but to me, RC cars is not a toy. Toys are those things you go to the kiddies toy shop, or you go to the supermarket, you see a little radio control car there, the little plastic thing. That for me is a toy. What we use is not a toy. And in fact, if you look at all the kits and the boxes and even some of the Tamiya kits, it tells you this is not a toy. So where people get this notion that RC drift cars are toys, I don't know. That first needs to stop. That kind of mentality needs to stop. It's not a toy. If it was a toy, we wouldn't have had competitions. We wouldn't have had national championships. We wouldn't have had world championships. You tell me you do all of that with toys? If you look at the comps at RCDC, and if you look at the amount of work that's put in terms of videography, audio, live streaming, the judging, they even had one of the judges from Formula Drift Japan there. The whole RCDC competition is run by a committee that's made up of manufacturers, track owners, and other representatives. You mean to tell me that you still want to call it a toy? You look at the competition that was held recently at Super G in the US. They had people from all over the country competing there. They had tons of manufacturers giving their support, lending their support to the competition. They also live stream, have a very efficient and a very good judging system and a replay system. And you want to tell me that these are toys? Get out of here, man. Get out of here. Let's see. So, okay, I'll go one more comment. Wolf says, that's what we try to bring to the people. I hate this kind of mentality, but sadly, people think that grown-up people play that play with their toy cars, and that mentally pisses me off big time. Absolutely 100% agree with you, man. It's not a toy. It's not a toy. It's a whole sport. You can be a casual drifter or casual racer. You can be dedicated to it and not compete. You can compete in it and be very successful, and you can be a professional RC drifter or RC racer and make money off it and live a comfortable life. But people still want to call it toys. We need to change that mentality, and the only way we're going to change that way of thinking is we ourselves take on that responsibility of changing their minds, in a civil and amicable way. We don't want to force it down their throat, but we do want to change the thinking, that we want to move them away from this thought that it's a toy. It's not a toy. So I hope you guys will agree with me on that. The next part that JQ was talking about is who do we look up to in RC drifting, um, and how are these people? How are they? What's the word? How are they making an impact on the community that they are trying to promote themselves and the hobby and the products? And as RC enthusiasts, how are we sort of picking these people up and showing them off? Now, by that I don't mean like putting them on a pedestal and turning them into like an RC god kind of thing. No, that's not what I mean. But how are we making these people not just like the best of the best, but also ambassadors for the RC drifting family and the hobby? How are we doing that? Why are we not doing that? How are they connecting to people? Um, it's like with real racing, for example. Even real drifters. I mean, how do we look at these real drifters? How do we see Keiichi? How do we look at Naoki Nakamura or Von Gittin or Frederick Aspo um, or Ken Gushi or so many or James Dean? Jeez, how can I forget James Dean, Peter Wycheck? There's so many of these guys. You know, whenever they come on, we go crazy for them. We want to watch all their races. We want to follow them. We want to try and emulate their style of drifting. We build cars with their library. But why is it that we're not doing the same for the really good RC drifters in the community? Why are we not sort of getting them to that sort of level? Because that's how we're gonna grow the hobby. Because people are gonna see like, what on earth is going on here? Why are people going so crazy for this guy here? What is he up to? So let's go and see, investigate what what is he doing, and that's how we're going to get more people interested in the hobby. Which leads me to the next point: what are we doing? What are we doing, as in the general RC drifters, to promote the hobby? Think about yourself and what you're doing and your little footprint in the RC drifting community. How are you affecting affecting change or affecting interest into your hobby? How are you going about it? What are you doing about it? So in the last episode, I spoke about passion and purpose, and doing things passionately with a purpose or without a purpose. So you're doing you're passionate about RC drifting, but you're keeping it to yourself. As in, you're just dedicating your time to your own craft, getting yourself better, and you hit the track and you come home. The moment you come home, that's it. You park you put your things away, and that's it. And you close up shop until you meet your next track day. That's passion without a purpose. Those with the purpose for the those with the passion for the I'm confusing myself. Those with the purpose for that passion. RC drifting for them doesn't end when they come off the track. They are actively trying to promote the hobby. They're actively trying to bring awareness to the hobby. They're trying to be they're trying to bring people into the hobby by showing them what are they doing, what are they up to. So it's about putting content out there as well, and in that, that's how we create advertisement for RC drifting. So we got things like there's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's TikTok, there's YouTube, there's Snapchat. I don't use Snapchat. There's all of these things. Everything's digital. It'll take you 2 seconds to take a picture, probably even less, to take a picture of your car. All you do, you set up a shot, you take a picture. It'll take you less than a second to upload that picture to your say your Instagram account. You link that to your Facebook account. You get shared. You use the common hashtags, and then you put a video together on TikTok, and then you use the hashtags, the popular hashtags. You link it to your different accounts. You share it once, it gets shared everywhere. So you see what I'm getting at, and this ties in with what Baxi was saying about there's not enough advertising for RC events, and I 100% agree. When you look at the advertisements for RC drifting, the only reason you're seeing it is because you are within that circle. But if we are trying to bring people from outside the hobby into the hobby, they are not seeing it because you are simply responding to an advert. They are not seeing what you're responding to. But if you shared it and you added a few words to it and explained a little bit about what you're doing, and then maybe attach your picture of your car to it, to that post, and share it, it'll bring more awareness. Then somebody will have a look at it. Maybe they won't respond to your post, but they'll have a look at it and they'll say, you know what is this up to? Let me go see what this guy is up to. Then he's going to search your profile. He's going to look at, wow, okay, this looks amazing. Look at this 350Z. I didn't know you get that in this scale. And then you put up a little video of you on the track, and you just riding the barrier on a long sweep. And trust me, people's minds get absolutely blown. So it starts with a little step, and if everybody can do that, I know it's a hell of a lot, and you don't have to be like constantly at it. 3 posts a day, every day. You don't have to do that. Once a week, do 1 post. Twice, 3 times a week, you do a post. Take a picture of your car. Maybe whilst you are doing some maintenance on your car, take a picture, post it up. Say hashtag it, whatever or just explain what your chassis is. Little comment about what you're doing, and this is what I'd like to do on my posts as well. On some of them is I added there. If you're ever interested, just always give me a shout, and I'll guide you. And believe me, I've had so much of response from that. Just guys asking me, hey, what's this all about? So and then all you have to do is just answer the questions, and you'll see it'll be easy enough for you to answer. So it's things like that that we need to do in order to help the sport grow. Otherwise, this thing is gonna die with us. We're not passing on anything to the next generation. So it's gonna die off with us. Is that what we really want? Have we been in RC drifting for so many years only for it to fizzle and fade away? No. This is one of the reasons why I started the podcast, is to try and get the awareness for RC drifting out there, but also to leave something for the next generation to hopefully be inspired and motivated and take up RC drifting, and perhaps take it to levels which I probably will never be able to reach, and that's the idea. So yeah, okay. So back to some of the points JQ Racing was making, is that for him, he was saying racing needs to be more convenient. So let me expand a little bit on that. And also what he meant to say when he was saying racing needs to be more convenient. Now this next bit is related to racing and what he was saying, not to drifting. So he was saying that the rules of racing need to be a little bit more simplified. There needs to be more categories, and because I believe the racing rules are quite stringent, and some of them don't make sense. Some of them are super restrictive, and he just feels like for guys coming into the hobby, it's just overwhelming and too much. And there needs to be a point where you need to simplify it. In some way, I suppose with RC drifting, the higher competitive levels definitely can be quite intimidating, especially when you reach like the world stage, or if you've looked at RCDC, you'll understand why it's quite an intimidating place to be. But in that, um, there's other things that we can implement so that the new guys coming into the hobby don't feel um, like they are now going against the country's number one, and like they still trying to get things right, and they go up against number one and they get absolutely obliterated. And if you put yourself in their shoes, you will realize that it's something that can actually turn you away from the hobby. So there needs to be a category dedicated to the new guys coming in, where the rules and we throw them in a competition, because like your your skills grow very quick in a competitive atmosphere. So in a competition, you learn very quickly, you get sharp very quickly. So you throw them in there, but in their own category, where the rules are a little bit relaxed for them, in order to make them feel more comfortable in a competitive setting, and also to motivate them to say like and give them more confidence. That's what I wanted to say. Give them more confidence to participate in competitions, and in that they will be more motivated to spend more time perfecting the craft. And when you spend more time in a hobby, it means uh, you are becoming an ambassador for the hobby as well, which means he's going to go back to his buddies and he's going to say, hey, you know what, check this out. He's going to show them a little video, and he's going to say, look at me drifting, and guys are going to go crazy. And then he's going to show them, look, here's my certificate, or here's my medal, or here's my little trophy, check it out, I won this category. So best newbie driver, whatever it may be, or I won first place in the newbie category. However you guys do it in your countries, whether you call it like expert class, or D1 or street class, or however you guys do it, it's fine. But I think that it's something, if you haven't already been doing, I think it's something that we need to start introducing, because 100%, and I'm sure you guys would have seen it in the RC groups, the worldwide groups, how many new guys are getting into the hobby. It's like almost every day, every week, there's about 10 or 15 new guys asking what new chassis can I get, or I just bought this chassis, or I'm gonna get this thing and I want to get that thing. And so those are the guys we need to really grab and get hold of in the hobby. The rest of us who've been around, we know for a fact we're gonna stay. We're like the furniture there. So we're the senior guys. We're gonna stay in. We're gonna take care of these guys. So we need to change our strategy in how we're keeping the new guys in the hobby. So let me go to some of the comments here. I've been missing completely the comments here. Let's see. Wolf says, Masami Hirosaka, you can't be in RC and not know who. Sure, let me get his name. Masami Hirosaka is. You can't be in RC and not know who that absolute legend is. And for the guys that don't know who that is, please do me a favor, go and Google it, Masami Hirosaka. Google that name, and you will see for yourself why he's an absolute legend in the RC game. Absolute legend. Right, so let's see. Marcio says, sometimes it's not about being the greatest, but how you engage with the community and how you promote the hobby. You are awesome in our local scene, Bob. Oh, thank you, man. I still don't think I'm just one little drop in the ocean, dude. And this is just me doing what I can for the hobby, and I really enjoy it. I really enjoy doing the podcast. Uh, it's a fantastic outlet for me to express my chatty ways and my ideas and what I think about things in the world of RC drifting. And also, I love interacting with people from and my friends from all over the world, and also featuring what's going on in their part of the world, because I feel like um, everyone should know what everyone else is up to in their country. So that's how we all grow the love, man. That's how we all grow that way. And just naturally, I'm so interested in everybody from everywhere and all the different cultures, and I love languages, even though I can't speak many of them. But I try and make an attempt, and I particularly love the Japanese culture. Uh, so I love people, and I love doing this, so that's why I keep going. Let's see what else. Marcio says, "I look up to you, Sensei." For oh man, oh you guys are so awesome, man. Really, you guys are so awesome, Matt. What is for sure, and that might be a problem in fascinating new people for our hobby, is the cost factor. Yes, definitely, Matt. Definitely, that has to be the biggest turn off in the hobby. Now, with that comes a whole nother problem where you have people who are well established in the hobby, but also those who have been established just a little while, and you get the new guy coming and it's like, hey, you know what, I want to get into RC drifting. What do I get? What do I buy? And then you just start hitting them. Okay, you get a YD2. You add. You need, and they don't say you can add or you can use. They say you need. That that needs to that needs it's subjective, because you that person may not necessarily need everything that you may eventually get. So as in all the upgrades, you don't necessarily have to get all of that in order to start learning and start drifting. You can drift with a low powered uh, brushless system with no turbo and boost. We've been doing that for so many years. We've been driving brushless cars with no turbo and boost, and we've been doing fine for how many years? And only when manufacturers have reached that level of technology that are able to implement turbo and boost into ESCs, that's when we started using them, and then discovered this whole new world. But then that's not the be all and end all of drifting. Are we forgetting where we came from? Are we forgetting our days in CS 50/50? And now we want to over push the new technology, the new equipment, which can be very expensive. That's not the right approach to get and attract the new guys. So in order for you to properly advise new guys, we have to ourselves educate ourselves on what's out there, what's in the market. Hence, me always watching all of the manufacturers, from the big guys to the small guys, from Tamiya to guys like Oriolite, who's not a mainstream manufacturer, but time to time he does something. From the smaller manufacturers like D-Light. How many different products does D-Like have in terms of chassis? How many? Two. The D-Like Evo, which they hardly they don't manufacture a lot of anymore, and then there's the RER hybrid. And the RER hybrid has been a chassis in development and continues to be developed, but he hasn't done any other chassis there. So, and then you get guys like 3 Racing, who produces touring cars and drift cars, and then you got to look at cost, and then you got to ask the right questions in order to give the right answers. So you got to ask the new guy, okay, like, what's your budget? What are you looking to do? Are you looking for something to do casually? You're looking for something to do competitively? What do you prefer doing? What and the biggest thing is the budget. You need to ask him what is your budget, and then work from there. So you can't just tell people, I'm looking for a drift car, what can I get? And then immediately you bombard them with, you get a YD2 SX3 and it costs X amount, and then you need a programmable servo, you need a 10.5T brushless motor with timing, and it has to be this model, and then you need that ESC with turbo and boost, and then let's see, you need this version gyro. Think about it. Do you really need all of those things? For drifting, you don't need a programmable servo. I will be the first to admit, though, a programmable servo is one of the most amazing things. You can finally tune your servo speed to react the way you want it. But for the new guy coming in, it's not necessary. He himself doesn't know how to drift, how to initiate a drift. He is still trying to figure out what the hell a driving line is. What are people talking about when they're saying your damper rate? Why do people run the shocks upside down and run it the right side up? Why is your camber so extreme? What does it do? They're still trying to figure out this all simple mechanics. You want to hit them with advanced level electronics. You're losing them already, and then they're seeing the price of these high level electronics, and they're like, what on earth is going on? So yeah, let's get back to some more comments. Let's see. Okay, RCDC got some interesting results, Bob. Any comments? Interesting results. Okay, I think in order for me to answer that a little more, I'd like you to please give me a little bit more context of what exactly you're talking about, because so from what I've seen, some of the especially in the qualifying, I saw some calls which didn't make sense to me, and I spoke about this earlier on. And also, another reminder for all those that have just joined in, thank you so much for joining in. I'm your host, Bob Rock, and this is the B Rock RC Show, a live podcast for the drifters by a drifter. So back to answering Jonathan's question, where he asked, RCDC got some interesting results. Any comments? Yeah, but like I said, just a little bit more context, then I'll be able to answer your question a little better. And like I said, there were some calls that didn't make sense to me, because I've seen a couple drivers where they bumped the barrier in the scoring zone, and at the end of it, they scored 0. And then I've seen other drivers who bumped the barrier between scoring zones, but got scored. So it's very confusing for me. And also Rio Ishii from Team Weld, he scored a 0. His lap was almost perfect, but he made one small error, and I couldn't understand why. because it's not like he did something like a crash. It's not like he bumped it. However, Vivian, he saw my comment in one of the groups that we are on, and then he had a look at it, and then he explained to me why they would have scored him a 0 on that. So then, after reading his explanation, then I understood why, talking about loss of drift, he straightened up. He needed to reinitiate the drift, and therefore it counts as a well, he got penalized for it. So I understood. It was a little bit extreme, though, I felt, but I understood where he's coming from. Moose. Yeah, what's up, Moose? Thanks for joining in, man. Okay, what does an entry level RC cost? Okay, it all depends on the budget, but for the moment, your best bet is a RCR car, ready to run car. MST makes a fantastic ready to run car. It comes with everything. All you need to do is just charge your battery and go. And those range around $300 upwards, maybe $370. Um, which is actually quite a reasonable price when you think about it. It works out to about 5 or 6k. So for an entry level car that you'll be able to learn how to drift properly, where you wouldn't need anything extra straight away, and something which is a really good platform which you can build up on, and it's going to last a while because it comes from a very, very good manufacturer. It's made by MST, which is out in Taiwan, and that car is called the Msc Rmx. Comes with a different range of bodies, Mustangs, BMs, some really nice cars. So that's a really good option if you don't have a massive budget. Yes, that $370 is a lot of money, but the the longevity of that chassis, you won't need to change that chassis for years and years, literally. So you're actually saving a hell of a lot on it. Let's see, Jonathan. Maybe the top drivers just gave the way to the other guys. Okay, so yeah, look, it's possible. I don't think there's any really there's any conspiracy though. I was surprised, I will admit, because I was watching some of the qualifying. I saw where some of the Rev D drivers finished off, and it was outside of the top 32, and some of them inside the top 32. So I was surprised to see at the end some of the same drivers in the top 4. I was like, shoot, okay. So, well, they worked for it. They battled their way through, and they made it. Now, here's something that I can relate to, though, and I think it might give you some insight. Um, Usually, when I'm in a comp, my qualifying is not really the best a lot of the time. The last comp I did, I was quite lucky where I did manage to score one high scoring run. But I get it. These guys, sometimes you get drivers who are not, who are really good as a solo driver, can do a really good qualifying lap. But when it comes to the tandem battles, they kind of, the nerves gets to them too much. And perhaps this is where the Rev D drivers actually excelled. So they were able to rein in the nerves and drive fantastically. So perhaps that's the reason why they made it all the way through. And I can tell I can tell you this from being at the World Championship. Your biggest asset is being able to control your nerves. Everybody's nervous, but whoever controls their nerves the best will end up getting the better result. That's why that's something that I've learned and took away from Worlds. You'll always be nervous in a competition, But if you are able to rein in your nerves right then and there, you'll be the better driver of the two. So perhaps that's what happened there. Let's go to some more comments. Bob, you should be spraying while doing the stream. No, 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 no. This podcast is for the people. What I do afterwards is for afterwards. So, but don't worry. Your body shell is gonna come out right. I have a plan in action, and I'm just once I'm done with this, I'm gonna execute, and it's gonna be all 100%. I'll send you pictures. Let's see. Thanks for answering. I don't want to buy, but just was curious because these things are super complex. So I assumed it had to be a few G's. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is. Look, it is a few G's. So here in South Africa, we have a unique community and a unique situation, or may not necessarily be so unique, but uh, we are uniquely economical in this country. So a lot of the people that's actually involved in RC drifting don't come from a background where they can easily get the newer, better, more proper stuff, the YD2s with the or the MC1, the RevD products, and so they work within the second hand circles. Um, and I came from that space also, so I understand their standpoint, and I also understand the scene and the atmosphere here in SA. So I'm able to advise all of the people, from those who have very little to those who can afford. I'm able to advise all of them because I've been through it all. So here, whenever somebody wants to get into RC drifting, first thing I ask him is always budget. Then I tell him, okay, what you can do is look for something good, something second hand. If you don't like it, you haven't lost a lot, you can sell it off, whatever. But if you do, you can work with this platform and bring it up to speed. So I found that a few times I made a similar comment to guys from overseas, and some of them it actually gave them good options there, so they appreciated it. Others, they have a little bit more money to put towards a better proper system, so I advise them on that as well. And I think one of the biggest things that we can do for the hobby is actually just sharing the knowledge, be it however much or however little you have. Just be in the space to answer questions. I know it can be so frustrating because you're answering the same thing over and over again. I know. I do it all the time, but you gotta look at the bigger picture. Let's see. Creating. Okay, so here's the next part, and this ties in with what my friend Baxi was saying about promoting and advertising of the hobby and events. So JQ was saying, was talking about creating and improving the marketing of the best drivers and the events and manufacturers and different products and stuff like that. We must reach out to the new guys to make them stay in a hobby, and we must celebrate the new guys. So you see, these are all points which I've been making all the time. And if you've been a follower of my podcast, you would know there's a term that I always like to use is encourage, not discourage. We got to take care of the new guys, and I've spoken about this many times, about the longevity of the hobby, about investing in the new guys. And by investing, I don't necessarily mean a monetary investment, but I mean investing your time and effort to bringing that person up. Because don't ever forget where you were. At one point, you were the new guy, and at some point you needed help from somebody who was already in the game. So never forget that we came up from basics. We are knowledgeable in the game now. We coming across people who are new in the game, who need to know the basics and come up all the way. So what's gonna happen to you if you share your time with this new guy and you help one person? You don't have to help multiple people. Help one. Dedicate your time to helping one person, and I promise you it will be one of the most fulfilling things you can do, because eventually he's gonna come up and then you're gonna tell him, okay, right, you need to drift with me, and eventually he's gonna reach that point where you are relying on him to be around so that you can drift. And I promise you the effect that it's going to have on this guy, he's going to remember it for the rest of his life, him or her, of course, because we know RC drifting is for anybody and everybody. There's no judgmental, there's no judging here, there's no prejudice here, there's no discrimination here in RC drifting. It's a hobby for anybody and everybody out there, be boy, girl, gender neutral, whatever gender you choose to be, it's for you. Even age as well, it's all for you. Um, so yeah, and so a lot of the points that I was already making for a long while, he spoke about as well. So so that tells me that I was already on the right path, and it's points that are critical in order to make the sport better. Um, we spoke about what are we doing to grow drifting. We can expand a little bit more about it. Creating content, taking a picture of your car. Even if you're not drifting your car, you go out somewhere, you have your car in your real car, so you stop along the road or along the beach side, you you position your car in a certain angle, you get down low and you take a picture perhaps with some scenery in the background, and it looks fantastic because you got the sun shining from the side, and it looks so scale, and then you post it up. Then the next day or some other time you're working on your car, all you're doing is you're just doing maintenance, you're just doing the cleanup. Take a picture, you say cleanup time, you post it. Another time you need to change products, so you set up your car there, you set up the new the product with with the box and the branding, and then you tag the manufacturer, you tag the hobby shop, and then you give a little explanation there. Okay, time for upgrade, and this is what I'm doing here, and give a little explanation. You post it. It's not going to take up much of your time. At most, it will take you about 5 minutes to do that. But the effect of that 5 minute job that you're doing is gonna expand exponentially. And this is what we have to try and start doing. Not just a few people, everybody. We all need to do this. Even if you just visit the track, you're not a competitive drifter, you're a casual drifter. You visit the track, take a picture with a few of the cars lined up. I promise you, if you ask drifters, it's like, guys, you know what, before you go, can we take a picture of the track? I want to post it up. I promise you, you'll have so many guys lining the cars up. Everybody wants to be in pictures. So you line the cars up, you tag the track, you tag the hobby shop, you tag some of the other drifters, and the effect starts growing that way. And that's how we get the word out. And then if there's things you can't answer, you direct them to people who can. Don't forget that. Because you being partly in the game, somebody showed you a rope somewhere, or you're part of some group and you've seen somebody answering a whole bunch of questions, you direct them to You say, you know what, I'm not too sure about this here, but I do know somebody who does. So here's a person, just message him and he'll help you out. And that's how you go about it. And then we spoke about passion with a purpose, and I think I've managed to explain myself a little bit about that. So I hope that what I was trying to explain about passion and purpose and then putting it together, and passion with a purpose. I hope I got my idea across, because even for myself, I'm trying to figure out, okay, is this exactly what I mean when I'm saying passion with a purpose? So to put it into perspective, or what I'm trying to say is, me doing the podcast is passion with a purpose. I'm passionate about drifting, and the purpose about that passion is trying to get not just be in the hobby but grow the hobby as well. So I hope that message has come across. Um, I have to leave. Nice to see you again, Bob. Cheers, everybody. Thanks so much for hanging around, Matt. Really, really appreciate it. Cheers, Rob. Okay. So, sorry, Jonathan. I'm only getting back to the comments now. Okay, chassis topic. TDP1 versus MC1. Which one do you prefer? Okay, so to answer your question there, Jonathan, the TDP kit I've only seen in pictures. I haven't held it. I haven't had a chance to explore it. So I really can't comment on that. I'm not the right person to comment on it because I haven't had to go with it. So I can't really say. The MC1 I did drive, and the one thing I can say about it on the car that I did drive was that car drove itself. So the conversion kit wasn't it wasn't like just an ordinary conversion kit. This thing was a beast. It was absolutely fantastic. The car drove beautifully, handled beautifully, performed better than what I thought, and I think it's a fantastic conversion kit. Now, if you tell me uh, beast mode compared to MC1, which one I would prefer? Now, I don't mean and I'm going to be as objective as I can. I was hooked up with a beast mode conversion kit for the YD2. Very grateful to that, to Team Jordan, my good friend Assad. You're the man, bro. And he gave me the opportunity to have one of his beast mode kits. It was a full conversion kit with the different options, with the RR option and everything. But I didn't choose to go with the RR. And what I will say about the beast mode kit is that it's a really well made, well put together kit. A lot of adjustability, a lot of options for you to finely tune your performance, and you can really get it down the nitty gritty of the chassis, and it performed really well. Comparing that to the MC1, look, the MC1 is made by obviously RevD, and we know the history behind RevD, who is actually is behind RevD. So it's understandable why that chassis is made the way it is, and at what level it is. If I had to just be blunt about it, I would prefer the MC1 over the beast mode. However, it's a very for me it's a very close call because they are right up there with each other. For me, the MC1 is just a little bit more above the beast mode, but I would definitely rate the beast mode right up there amongst the conversion kits. So that's how I would yeah, that's my take on those chassis. Okay, guys, so this we finally come to the end of our fantastic show. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Okay, Jonathan says RR layout or non-RR layout. What are your inputs about it driving wise? Sorry for so many questions. Okay, I will answer a few more questions, and not just from Jonathan, from anybody else who has any questions before we'll have a little Q&A thing going on here. Okay, so I did drive the RR or an RR laid out chassis, in terms of the YD2. I'm not a fan of the RR kit, although I can see the benefit of it. It does need a slight change up with your driving style, and perhaps because I've driven like high motor or low motor, mid motor layouts, that I feel like I don't like the RR. It could be that, but just personally, from me driving the RR, I didn't like it. I don't prefer it. I don't have anything against it. It's just that I don't prefer the. It doesn't fit into my style of driving, so I don't prefer the RR layout. Um, You'll notice with the RR, it has a lot of forward push, but also your tune has to be very different, because you're accommodating for that rear motor uh, layout. So also when you're going into drifting, and I stand to be corrected. I hope whoever's does have an RR kit and drives RR can, either agree or correct me. But with that weight at the back, you do have your rear of the car does swing out a little bit more. So your front end geometry has to accommodate for that sort of snappy action, that natural snappy action there. So, but yeah, I don't prefer RR. I prefer non-RR. I enjoy that more. My preferred layout is a high motor mount. High motor mount, 70/30, 65/35 weight ratio. I like a nice wide front track, so I look at about maybe 205 to 210 out in the front. Um, Camber around 10 in the front, minus 1.5 toe in the rear, about half a degree to 1 degree toe out in the front. Because of the track that I have, our track is not smooth at all. It's not level. There's a lot of humps and bumps there. We've got two embanked sweeps in there as well. So our ride height needs to be a little bit higher, and also we've got full damper travel. We need that because to accommodate for the undulating surface. And on our track, you will see your suspension work. If you look at your car and you watch it go around, you'll see the car dipping. And I'm not talking about a shark bite. I'm not talking about the throttle action and you see the car dipping. Not that. Actually, just driving the car, you'll see the suspension working there. So it's quite something. Let's see. Oh, only a pleasure, Jonathan. I'm glad I could answer the question for you. Marcio says, Bob, one day if I had to upgrade my chassis YD2S, what would be the best way forward? Upgrading individual parts on the chassis or just buying a new chassis like a YD2SX? Okay, so it's actually cheaper to buy something like a SX or an SX3 straight off the bat than having to upgrade. Because when you do an upgrade and you do it over time, you won't feel it. You won't feel the cost. But over that length of period that you've ordered parts and you total that up, you'll find that it's going to work out more expensive than buying that SX straight away, because it comes with like carbon fiber decks and some aluminium parts and stuff like that. So you only have to get a few additional upgrades to make it full carbon fiber and aluminium. However, there's things like the MC1, which is a really good conversion kit, the Beast Mode, which is also a very good conversion kit. There's the TDP1, there's the SPL Made, there's the Wrap Up Next. There's year racing, which I don't prefer, but it's there. People do have success with year racing products. I've had success with year racing products. It's just certain of the products I wouldn't suggest, and that's it. Yeah, and there's quite a few other conversion kits out there. So in terms of options, you have a lot. Some guys prefer to keep it with the same brand, so you could also look at it, look at those things as well. Uh, yeah, so Dirk says driving time is the best upgrade. Yeah, agree. Okay, so guys, it's been really, really awesome. I'm so happy that my podcast has gone all the way through, and from what I'm seeing, it my OBS is telling me no zero dropped frames, 0%. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but my stream never cut out, so I think I'm quite chuffed about that. Let's see, yeah. So it's been really awesome. Thank you so much for joining in on today's episode of the B Rock RC Show. I really appreciate everybody joining in and so much of input, guys. You don't know how much it means to me seeing the amount of comments and the amount of action in the comment section. It's really, really fantastic. Tend to feed off that energy. So if you notice, like, I managed to keep the energy going through the whole show, and it's because of the interaction from you guys. So you actually make the show. I just facilitate the show, but it's you guys that's making the show. So really appreciate it. You can catch me same time, same place next week, Monday at 9:30 South African times. At Central African time as well. So just synchronize your clocks, and then I'll also be posting up when the next show is, so you can follow from there. So for the guys that missed most of the show, it was quite an informative show today, and there's lots that we can take away from there. I hope one or two manufacturers may come across this episode of my podcast and just lend their input about what's going on and what I've said. So next week I'd like to follow up just a little bit about RCDC and how they run or how they've ran the competition, because there's a few things there that's relevant to what I spoke about which I haven't addressed, and it's something that we should really look at. Yeah, my all the episodes are uploaded on my YouTube channel. The uh, the channel is the channel address is on my page as well. It's under the B Rock RC Show, so you can check that out as well and catch up with all the other episodes from season 1 and the ones from season 2. Also, I've been uploading my episodes onto Spotify, so if you just prefer listening and not watching, you can also catch my episodes on Spotify, also under the B Rock RC Show. Thank you all once again for watching. You can follow me on my personal profile, that's Bob Rock, you know my face. And then you can also catch me on Instagram at Bob_Rock. So I will see you again next week, same time, same place. Please keep yourselves happy and healthy. Keep your friends and family healthy. Make sure you sanitize, use your mask, be safe, vaccinate, don't vaccinate, whatever, but keep yourselves safe and healthy. I want to see all you guys in the comments again next week. So cheers, have an awesome week ahead, and keep drifting alive, and yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Cheers.